Hello class 8 boys, welcome to the class today. Okay boys, in today's class we'll discuss about factorization of polynomials by the second method, by the next method, which is by grouping of terms and then taking common. Okay, so we will discuss a few numerical examples from exercise 11.2, which is on page number 215, so that the concept of factorization of polynomial by grouping of terms and then taking common is clear to you all. Okay, so without delaying, let us check question number 1 Roman 1 from exercise 11.2 on page number 215. Okay, the question reads, the main question is factorize the following polynomials, and question number 1 Roman 1 is x squared plus xy minus x minus y. So we see how many terms are there. There are 4 terms in here. Okay, so let us see how do we factorize this polynomial. Okay, so as the name suggests, by grouping terms and then taking common. So what is the first step? We'll group the terms, and after grouping the terms then we'll take common. Okay, so usually when you group, it is the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms. Okay, so this comprises of our first group and this comprises of our second group. Okay, so the first step is done. So this is our first group and this is our second group. Okay, now after grouping of terms, what we need to do? Then taking common. So if you closely notice this, okay, what is the common factor between these 2 terms? We have x square here, we have x and y. Okay, so what is the power on x? The power on x is 1. Okay, so as I told you, whenever you have powers involved, you check the power. So which one is the least power? Here the power is 2, here the power is 1. So which one is the least power? The least power is 1. So what we'll do? X to the power of 1 is common. Okay, so x. Now we check for y. So we have a y here and we don't have any y here. We just forget about the second group. Okay, we just forget about the second group. We are just dealing with the first group. Just treat the question as this much. Okay, so out of x square plus xy, what is common? X is common. Okay, here we have a y, but here we don't have a y. Okay, that means x is common. Okay, so what do? We write down the leftover. So out of the x square, you have taken x outside. So what will be left over here? X. Then the plus comes here. Out of the xy, we have taken the x common. You have taken the x outside. So what is left over here? Y. Okay, now we go to the second group. Okay, minus x minus y. Okay boys, be very careful to understand this concept. Okay, you see here we have a positive sign and here we have a negative sign. The signs are not matching. So whenever the signs are not matching, that means the sign inside the bracket and the sign inside and the sign here, if the signs are not matching, what what sign do you write here? You write a negative sign. Okay, so this is applicable in all the questions. Okay, so after taking common of the first group, you check the sign. Here we have a plus and here we have a minus. Signs are not matching, that means you'll write a minus sign here. If the signs are matching, you'll write down a plus sign here. So we'll come across questions where the signs will match. Okay, but in this particular question, the signs are not matching, so you write a minus here. Okay, now we have a x here, we have a y here. Okay, so is there anything common in here? Nothing is common, but what is common here? 1 is common here. As I was telling you the other day, we have x minus y. Okay, we have x minus y. So what does x mean? X means x multiplied by 1 minus what does y mean? Y multiplied by 1. That means if nothing is common, what is common? We have a 1 here, we have a 1 here. So what is common? So y is common. So what will be left over here? X and the y will be left over here. So please remember, whenever you are checking a common factor, if none of the terms are common, that means what is common? Your 1 is common. The same thing is applicable here. Okay, so 1 is common. So minus 1 is common between these 2 terms. Okay, so out of the minus x, you have taken minus 1 common. So what will be left over here? X. Then already you have taken a minus outside to plus and then a minus. Okay, now how will you know whether this is correct? So you multiply the minus 1 back into the bracket. What you should be getting? You should be getting this same term. Okay, let us check. Minus 1 into x will give you minus x and minus 1 into y will give you minus y. Okay, now what is the purpose of writing a minus sign here? Okay, the purpose of writing the minus sign here, that if you write down the minus sign here, now if you closely see the bracketed term, are we getting the same bracketed term? X plus y, x plus y. So now this x plus y and the x plus y term is matching. Okay, so in order to match the term, what do? We write a minus sign here so that the sign becomes positive here. Okay, so that we get exactly the same x plus y and the same x plus y term here. Okay, now after this step, what do? We make yet another grouping. Okay, so this will become our first group and this entire thing will become our second group. Okay, the first group and the second group. Okay, now again we'll identify the common term. So what is common in both the group? Here x, here minus 1, that's not common, but we have x plus y here, we have x plus y here. That means this term is common to both the groups. So what is our common factor here? Our common factor will be, what will be our common factor? X plus y will be our common factor. Okay, so what we'll write now? We write down the leftover. So of the first group, okay, x plus y is taken outside. So what is left over here? X, then the minus, out of the 1 into x plus y is taken outside. So what is left over here? Minus 1 is left over here. So what will be our factors? Our factors will be x plus y multiplied by x minus y. So this will be the factor for the question, for the polynomial x square plus xy minus x minus y. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Okay, well, it's a new thing, so you'll take some time to understand the concept. So I can't expect you to understand right in the first go or in the first question. Okay, let us try to solve few more examples so that things will be more clear to you. Okay, now let us take question number 1 Roman 2. Okay, let us take question number 1 Roman 2. Okay, the question is y square minus yz minus 5y plus 5z. Okay, so this is the polynomial given to us, and now what we need to do? We need to factorize this polynomial. So we'll follow the same process. We'll group the terms first and then we'll take common. So let us group. So usually it is the first two and the last two. Okay, the first two in the first group and the last two in the next group. Okay, now here let us check what will be our common factor here. Here we have y square and here we have yz. So y square and here what is the power? The power is 1. So we take the least power. So which one is the least power? Y to the power of 1. So we take y to the power of 1 or y as common. Okay, now what is left over? Okay, we have a z here. Do we have a z here? No, that means z is not a common factor. Okay, now let us write down the leftover. So out of the y square you have taken y outside. So what is left over here? Y, the minus comes here as it is. Out of the yz you have taken the y outside. So what is left over here? Z. Is it okay? So y into y minus z. Okay, if you multiply the y inside the bracket, this will give you the same thing. Y into y will give you y square, y into minus z will give you minus yz. Okay, now we come to the second term, the second group. Now as I told you, you'll check the sign here. What is the sign here? Minus, and what is the sign here? Plus. So again the signs are different. So what did I tell you? If the signs are different, what sign will you write here? You'll write down a minus sign here. Okay, now 5y plus 5z. Okay, so what is the common factor here? We have a 5 here, we have a 5 here, so we will take 5 as a common factor here. We have a y here, we don't have a y here, so that is not a common factor. We have a z here, we don't have a z here, so that is not a common factor. So what is our common factor? Minus 5 is the common factor. Okay, now let us write down the leftover term. So what will be left over here? Y minus z. Okay, see, we are getting the same term, y minus z, y minus z. If I multiply back the minus 5 into the bracket, I'll get back the same thing. Minus 5 into y minus 5y, minus into minus plus 5 into z, 5z. Okay, so the first part of the sum is done. Okay, now what we'll do? Again we will group the terms. Okay, so this is our first group, this is our second group. Okay, now again we will identify the common factors here. So what will be our common factors here? y, we don't have a y here, 5, we don't have a 5 here, so y and 5 are not common factors, but we have a y minus z, we have a y minus z. So what will be our common factor here? Y minus z and a y minus z here. Okay, so after identifying the common factor, let us write it down. So y minus z is the common factor here. So let us write down the leftover. So what is leftover in the first group? Y is leftover minus what is leftover in the second group? 5 is leftover in the second group. So what will be our factors? Our factors will be y minus z multiplied by y minus 5. Okay, so this sum was quite similar to question number 1 Roman 1. Okay, now let us take one more example. Okay, I'm taking more and more examples so that the concept becomes very clear to you, because the same chapter is again discussed in class 9 as well. Okay, where some more difficult sums will be there, but the basic concept will remain the same. So when you reach class 9, again the same factorization is again discussed in class 9 as well. Okay, so it's important that you get the concept correct right now. Okay, now let us check one more question number 2 Roman 1. Okay, the question is 5xy plus 7y minus 5y square minus 7x. Okay, this is the question given to us. 5xy plus 7y minus 5y square minus 7x. Okay, now how do we go about it? Okay, now what will we do here? We need to group. Okay, now in this question we have to rearrange the terms. Okay, we'll rearrange the terms in such a way so that it will become easy for us to take the common. Okay, so we'll try to keep the 5 and the 5 together so that we can take the 5 common, and we can keep the y and the 7 and the 7 together so that we can take the 7 common. Okay, so let us keep the 5s together and the 7s together. Okay, so what does that mean? 5xy minus 5y square. Okay, then we have 7y minus 7x. Okay, 5xy minus 5y square plus 7y minus 7x. Okay, now let us group. So this is our first group, this is our second group. Okay, now let us check for the common factor. So we have a 5 here, we have a 5 here, so we can easily take 5 as common. We have a x here, we don't have a x here, so x is not common. We have a y here, we have a y square here. So what is the power of y? 1. And what is the power of y? 2. So out of 1 and 2, which common will we take? We'll take the least power, that is 1 as common, y to the power of 1. Okay, so taking common is over. Now we will write down the leftovers. So out of the 5xy, we have taken the 5 and the y outside. So what is left over here? X. Then the minus comes here as it is. Out of the 5y square, we have taken the 5 outside. We have taken the y common. So what is left over here? Y is left over here. Right. Okay. Now we see, we check the sign. We have a minus sign here, we have a minus sign here. So are both the signs matching? Yes. If both the signs are matching, what will we write? We'll write a plus here. As in the previous sum, the signs were not matching. Okay, we had a minus here, we had a plus here, so we wrote down minus. So in the same way, if the signs are matching, you write down plus. Okay, now we identify the common factors. So we have a 7 here, we have a 7 here, so 7 is your common factor. Okay, then we write down the bracket, so we'll write down the leftover. So what is left over here? Out of the 7y, we have written the 7 as the common factor. So what is left over here? Y, then the minus, and then what is left over here? X. Okay, now let us check the bracketed term. So what is the bracketed term? X minus y. And what is the bracketed term here? Y minus x. So are they matching? Well, the terms are identical, but the order is not matching. We have x minus y here, and here we have y minus x. That means if we change the order of this as x minus y, that means our bracketed term will match. Okay, let us see how do we change the order. So this is equal to 5y x minus y 7. Now when you change the order, when you have a negative sign here, what happens? The sign in outside the bracket changes. Okay, that means we have a plus sign here. So what does this become? This becomes a minus sign here. Okay, boys, one thing I want to tell you all, please don't get confused while you are changing the order. Okay, because the sign does not change when you are changing the order of a plus sign. For example, if you have a plus b, I want to change the order. I want to write the order as b plus a. Okay, so what will happen here? You can change the order easily, but you don't have to change the sign outside the bracket. Okay, but this is not applicable with a minus sign here. What I mean to say, if we have a minus b, okay, but I want to write this in the form of b minus a. Okay, so what will happen? You just need to give a minus sign here. Okay, why do you give a minus sign? Let us multiply the minus sign inside and check. So minus into plus, this will become minus b, minus into minus, this will become plus a. So eventually what does this give us? This gives us a minus b. Okay, so please remember, whenever you want to change the order with a minus sign, you just change the sign outside the bracket. That means whatever sign is there, you just change the sign. If you have a plus sign, make it minus. If you have a minus sign, make it plus. Okay, if you are changing the order with a minus sign. Okay, but if you are changing the order with a plus sign, you need not change the sign. Okay, let us take one example. Suppose 2 plus 3. What is 2 plus 3? 2 plus 3 is 5. Suppose if I want to change the order of this, so what is the order? If I change the order to 3 plus 2, so what is 3 plus 2? 3 plus 2 is also 5. So 2 plus 3 is also giving you the same result 5, and 3 plus 2 is also giving you the same result 5. So whenever you change the order with a plus sign, no need to change the sign. But when you change the order with a negative sign, what you have to do? You have to change the sign in outside the bracket. Okay, the same thing we have applied in here. Now the question arises, why are we changing the order? We are changing the order so that the bracketed term now matches and we can take a common out here. Okay, so what is common? 5, no 5 here, so we can't take 5 as common. Y, no y here, we can't take common. We have a 7 here. Do we have a 7 here? No, so we can't take 7 common. But we have x minus y, we have x minus y. So what is our common factor here? X minus y is the common factor here. Now we'll write down the leftover. So out of the first group, what is left over? 5y is left over. X minus y, already we have written it outside. Then comes the minus, then the 7, x minus y, already we have written it outside. So this will be the factor. Okay, so boys, for this particular question, I believe that this step, okay, this step is the most important step of the whole sum. Why? Because we have done something different, something new here. Okay, we are trying to change the order. Y minus x, we are writing as x minus y, so the plus 7, it becomes minus 7. Okay, so this step is very, very important here. Okay, so please make a point to understand this step. If you have any doubt, if you have not understood this step, please raise your questions when we are having our online live classes. Okay, so that was the solution for question number 2 Roman 1. Okay, now let us take one more example, question number 2 Roman 2. Okay, let us see question number 2 Roman 2. Okay, we go to question number 2 Roman 2. Let me align the page so that I get a full page in the camera. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so question number 2 Roman 2. Okay, question number 2 Roman 2. Okay, the question reads as 5p squared minus 8pq minus 10p plus 16q. Okay, the reason I am trying to solve more and more questions so that you get the concept right. Okay, because this is something new for you and you have to learn it very properly. Okay, because the same thing will be discussed in class 9. So if you go weak in understanding the concept right now, it will be very difficult for you for class 9. Okay, so please try to make an effort to understand this method by grouping and taking common. Okay, because the same thing is discussed in class 9 as well. Okay, now let us discuss the next question. Question number 2 Roman 2. 5p squared minus 8pq minus 10p plus 16q. Okay, we need to factorize. So we'll try to reshuffle the terms here as well. Okay, so we'll try to reshuffle it in such a way so that it becomes easy for us to take common. So if you closely examine the question, we have a 5 here, so we have a 10 here. So maybe if we take the 5 and 10 in one group, it will be easy for us to take common. We have a 8 here and we have a 16 here, so it will become easy for us to take common. Okay, so let us group it. So 5p squared minus 10p, we keep it in one group. Then we have minus 8pq plus 16q in one group. Okay, now let us write it in the factor form. So 5 can be written as 5 into 1 into p squared, minus 10 can be written as 5 into 2 into p, minus 8 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2 into p into q. Okay, and this 16q, I'll write it in the next line. So 16 can be written as 2 into 2 into 2, so 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16 into q. Okay, so we are done with the factorization of the numerical. Now let us identify the common terms here. Okay, let us see what are the common terms in here. Okay, so let us group it first. Okay, so this is our first group and then this is our second group. So let us identify our common terms here. We have a 5 here, we have a 5 here, so 5 and 5 is the common term here. We have a 1 here, well we have a 1 here also. We have p squared here and we have p here, so what will be our common factor? P. Okay, so let us write down the common factor for the first group. So 5p. Now let us write down the leftover. So we have written the 5, after the p square we have written the p outside, so what is left over here? P. Then comes the minus, we have 5, we have already written it outside, 2 is left over here, and p already we have written it outside, so what is left over here? 5p multiplied by p minus 2. Right. Okay, now let us check the sign. We have a minus sign here and we have a plus sign here, so the signs are differing. Okay, the signs are not the same, so what do? We write a minus here. Okay, now let us identify the common factors here. We have a 2 here, 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 we don't have a 2 here. Okay, we have a p here, we don't have a p here, we have a q here, we have a q here. Okay, now let us write down the common factors. So what are the common factors? 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, and then q. 2 2s are 4, 4 2s are 8, and q is the common factor here. Now let us write down the leftover. So what is the leftover? Leftover is p, and this plus will become minus, and what is left over here? 2, p minus 2, right? Okay, now again let us group it. So this is our first group, this is our second group. Now check the bracketed term, p minus 2 and p minus 2, so both the bracketed term are same. So what we can do, we can take the p minus 2 as our common factor. So what is left over in the first group? We have taken p minus 2 outside, so what is left over? 5p minus what is left over here? 8q, because p minus 2 already we have taken as common. So this will be the factor for question number 2, Roman 2. Right. Okay. Now let us take one more example. Question number 3, Roman 1. Question number 3, Roman 1. The question reads as a square b minus ab square plus 3a minus 3b. Okay, now is there a need of reshuffling the terms? Well, I believe there is no need to reshuffle the term, because the 3 and the 3 already they are together. Okay, so no need to shuffle the terms, we just need to group them. So this is our first group, this is our second group. Okay, now in the first group what will be our common? A square and a to the power of 1. So it is the least power, a to the power of 1, so this becomes common. We have a b and we have a b square, so b to the power of 1, so which is our least? B to the power of 1, or b. Okay, now we'll write down the leftover. So out of the a square you have taken a common, so what is left over here? A. Out of the b to the power of 1 you have taken b to the power of 1 common, so this goes outside. Then comes the minus sign. a to the power of 1, you have already taken it outside. After b square, you have taken b outside. So what is left over here? A minus b. Okay, now we'll check the sign. We have a minus sign here, we have a minus sign here, so both the signs are matching. So what you give? You give a plus sign here. Now we have a 3 here, we have a 3 here, so 3 will be common. You have a here, you don't have a a, so that's not common. You have a b here, you don't have a b, so b is not common. So what is left over here? A minus b. Okay, now do you see the bracketed term? Is it coming exactly the same? Yes, it's coming exactly the same. A minus b, a minus b. So what will be our common factor here? Our common factor here will be a minus b. So what is left over in the first group? AB plus what is left over in the second group? 3. So this will be the factor for question number 3 Roman 1. Okay, so question number 3 Roman 2 is similar, so that I leave it up to you. So question number 3 Roman 2, I leave it up to you. Then question number let us check one more question. Okay, question number 5 Roman 2. Okay, let us discuss question number 5 Roman 2, because question number 5 Roman 2 is slightly of a different type. Okay, so question number 5 Roman 2. Okay, the question reads as y square minus xy 1 minus x within bracket minus x cube. Okay, so according to the Boardmaster rule, what do we? Okay, so we solve this part first. So this will give us y square minus into plus minus xy into 1 xy minus into minus plus xy into x square y minus x cube. Okay, now let us group. So the first two in the first group, the last two in the next group. Okay, now let us take the common. So what is common out of these two? Y square and y. Y is common, so what is left over here? Y minus x. So we have a minus sign here, we have a minus sign here, that means we can write a plus here. Now let us go to the second group. X square, x cube. Okay, so which is the least power? X square. So we will take x square as common. Okay, so now we'll write down the leftover. So out of x square and y, we have taken x square common, so what will be left over here? Y. Then comes the minus. Out of the x cube, we have taken the x square common, so what will be left over here? X. Okay, now check the bracketed term. Y minus x, y minus x. Okay, now let us group. So this is our first group, this is our second group. Okay, so what is our common factor? Our common factor is y minus x. What is left over? Y plus x square. So y is left over here, then the plus, and then the x square, because these two already we have written it outside. So this is how question number 5 Roman 2 is done. Okay, so question number 5 Roman 1 is similar, so I'll leave that for your assignment. Okay, now quickly let me give the assignment for today. Okay, so your assignment for today would be, your homework for today would be question numbers 2 Roman 1, question number 2 Roman 1, question number 3 Roman 1, question number 4 Roman 1, and question number 5 Roman 1. Okay, so these questions will be assignment for today. These questions are from exercise 11.2, which is on page number 215. Okay, so your homework will be 2 Roman 1, question number 3 Roman 1, question number 4 Roman 1, question number 5 Roman 1, on page number 15, exercise 11.2. Okay, I hope boys this concept is clear to you. If you have any doubt, you can again re-watch the video once again. Moreover, if you have any doubt, please raise your doubts when we are having our online classes. You can WhatsApp me your queries. Okay boys, I'm telling you again and again, this is very important concept. Please try to learn it very carefully, because it has a wide application in your higher classes as well. I hope this tutorial is helpful for you. Bye for now, and please take care of yourself.